Hello, and welcome to my universe. So, here we go, back to hair rendering. Because, you know, hair is forever when you're drawing the anime girls. So, let's see, if I recall, I did like half of the front bangs, but got everything roughly textured the way I wanted. Checks out. So, here we go. I'm just gonna continue, and here's hoping that I can get most of the way through it today. You know, maybe if I'm lucky, I'll even finish it off. We'll see what happens. Nitya, as anime girls go, does not have very much hair, so that always makes things just a little bit easier on me. It's okay. I do actually kinda like drawing hair. I used to, like, really hate it. I think a lot of that was just because I didn't like the way that I drew hair for the longest time, but then I tried stuff, and I found something I liked, and now I'm actually pretty okay with it. It's just time-consuming, and thus, I whine a lot. It's okay. Just figuring out how this strand should go here, and where all the angles will meet up. There we go. I think something like that's pretty okay. Hopefully it's dark enough through there, because I know that I had a pretty juicy shadow there, but it's probably fine. We'll see how I feel about it when I zoom out in like 20 years. Because I'm not going to zoom out until I finish the front here, I think. Unless I'm just really unsure of where I'm going. But no, I looked at it before stream here, and I thought everything was looking pretty good. So I think I can just roll with it all. And I have to say, the operation do at least most of the facial proportions and stuff before fully rendering hair going pretty well. I managed to catch a lot of potential problems with in the Katya drawing yesterday. Since I went ahead and did a bunch of work on the face first. I didn't fully render anything. I just made sure that everything was good, everything was the way I wanted it. I made no assumptions that I did anything right beforehand, and I caught some issues with facial proportion. So, I was able to fix that before rendering all the hair and realizing I did everything wrong. So I think that will save me some time with going down the road. So I'm just like, hell yeah. I think I'm also coming to accept that to an extent, as long as I keep wanting to draw with everything I have, I will never be fast. So I think a lot of the reason that manga artists and the like can get away with a lot of what they do, especially with some of the more detailed styles, is because they have lots of assistants. I remember when Death Note was popular. This would be in the second, you know, the second major arc there. Of the author thanking their assistants quite often. Or, there was one comment in particular that really stood out to me. With, Nier made a big house, a big city, not even just a house, but a big city, made out of matches. And that entire thing was drawn. And then the author was just like, yes, I'm sorry for thrusting on this upon you, my assistants, but it looks fantastic, thank you. And they got it all done in time. So, I told myself that I think in order to draw fast, I was gonna have to find a style that's messy, that I can tolerate. I haven't found it yet, but I'm working on it. It's just hard sometimes, because when I start a picture, I want it to look nice, you know? So, I think one thing that I'd like to try when I'm going for drawing fast is to give it some other merit, I guess, as opposed to just being a nice illustration, because that tends to be what I go for right now. I just want the illustration to be nice. I want it to convey what I want it to convey. And for single illustrations, I kind of know what I'm doing there now. I kind of am in a good place, I think. But I think that there's other things that can make illustrations nice, whether they're topical, for example. I ended up doing a speed painting of Rudy Ruse in that one dress that she happened to repost on Twitter. I managed to get it done in a few hours. Incredibly fast for me, and maybe not fast yet, but it was incredibly fast for me, and I found a couple of things that I ended up liking there. So there is potential, and I got to post it right away, and that was actually really fun. I got to participate in community events, so I think having things be topical is useful there. And another thing would be trying to do more storytelling adjacent stuff. So just figure out the minimum I need to convey this story, or maybe it doesn't need to be fully rendered and whatnot. And if anything, maybe it being a little bit messy and unclear actually aids in it. So I've been thinking about things like that. And I just need to get it to a point where I'm feeling okay and I don't feel the need to just go all out all the time. No, I actually think even saying it like that is incorrect. I get into a place where going all out doesn't mean doing what I'm doing right now. Like, not the full rendering, something a little bit looser. And being okay with that. Because I don't think I'll ever be able to fight my urge to go all out. I don't think that's ever going to happen. But it can have different definitions. It can. So that's what I'm going to try to figure out. That's what I want to try to figure out. Because at least when it comes to stuff I make, I don't think I'll ever be happy being lazy about it. I joke about being lazy. I do. I do it quite often. But I don't actually think I'm lazy. And then there are particular things, even in the pictures that I do go really hard on, where I say that's fine, because I acknowledge that I have accomplished what I want. That was actually not true, probably 5 years ago or so, where I would insist on doing lots of tiny little things that I'm pretty sure you couldn't even see once I zoomed out. And after a while, I just kind of stopped doing some of those things. And that was good. I'm glad I did. So I just, have to iterate on that and figure out what it means for further drawing. Art is hard. It's okay. I wouldn't have it any other way. Life is better with just the right amount of discomfort. Okay, I'm gonna fill in this entire area because it's clear that I am changing the shape of this bang here. I guess it's going straight up this way. Sure, why not? Let's go. This is kind of a major change, but when it comes down to it, I think it's still just... Oh, hold on, I gotta... Shh. There we go. Okay. I think it's still just what I had before, but better. So I think it'll be okay. Let's find out. I don't feel like zooming out right now. I wish to be kind to the future speed paint watchers as much as I can. So I'm trying to, you know, scoot around less and zoom in and out less and that kind of thing. Where I can. You know, this one is super long. I don't want to attempt to draw this in a straight line. Let's give myself a little bit of extra black space here, and then I'm gonna grab the line tool, and I'm gonna make it this way. Okay, here we go. Right about here should be good, and then I want it to be straight, like, all the way up there. Okay. Okay, that's as much of my screen. God, do I really have to clean my water again already? I swear. I don't even know how it gets so much little dirt on it. I like never touch it, and it's in an area where my kids don't really touch it. So I don't know how this happens. I swear, entropy is just the worst. Nobody likes you. Why are you not drawing? Okay, thank you. That was weird. I think I'm just gonna come down here and I'll start heading around. But first I gotta fix like that round point there. This, way too round. Not acceptable. For this style, all corners must be sharp enough to cut me. Very important. So, I will go through and fix that. Okay, I think I actually wanted to come out a little further that way. Normally, I try to make it a little longer because I find it easier to just kind of cut around it rather than try to add to it to make it pointy, but well, these things happen sometimes. Okay. And I do want just a little bit of green there. Actually, do I have a Nitty reference here? I do. Perfect. This way I don't have to scroll around quite as much. So there's two ways that kind of hair can go. One, it can be kind of being tucked behind her ears or something, and just kind of roll that way. Or it can be a bang in and of itself, and it just kind of changes how I shade it. If it was going to be tucked behind her ears, that means the hair is being pulled this way, and I should draw it like that. And if it's a bang, it should go vertically. And it is a bang, so that does mean I will be drawing it vertically. But I had to double check that. So I want it to be a pretty thick shadow there. So I think we get something like that. And then maybe I'll just add another little strand coming up here like this later. I hate all those lines. It's okay. I'll draw it a few more times and it'll be fine. Okay. Okay, I think that's good. And then I'll just draw a couple of little guys kind of through there to also make it clear what this bang is doing. And that it is, in fact, hair. Okay. So far, so good. Let's get into these guys now. I'm going to hide the pigtails real quick, just so I know which area is pigtail and which area is not. Makes it a little bit easier for me to understand. See, in the end, once the picture's done, I do think it is my job as the artist to make sure that the picture is easy to understand, and that anyone that looks at it will be able to see these things without having to hide layers and whatnot. But the picture is not done. It is not. I'm kind of going through the stages of cleaning it all up and getting it to where it needs to be. So, while I will have to make sure that they are nice and separated at some point, it's fine if it's not that way now. That's why I often hide layers for a while, so that this way I can really determine how something should be drawn, so that it can all be understood with all of the layers on. It's not there yet, but that's normal. It's very normal. Everything is kind of a mess while I'm going. Always. But it gets there. It does. So last night I posted a new drawing, and the time lapse of it has so far gotten over 1,000 views, which is always pretty awesome to see. I'm glad people like it. I worked pretty hard on it. I mentioned a few times throughout the week that I kind of went a little bit too hard on the picture because I keep doing it, but the result was good, so yay! And I'm really glad that people like it. I really wanted to try to get it out sooner, but I am just kind of coming to accept that currently I'm a bit slow, and as long as I actually care about what I'm doing, it's probably just going to be that way for a while. I've always been a little bit slow with anything that I do and anything that I make, but I think that the results off it ended up pretty good. So, it's generally worth. Sometimes I will rant about it because it is a little frustrating, though. Because I would like to do more things, and I'm pretty sure that what I do right now will not be doable with comic drawings, and I think that's sad, so it's alright. Okay. But hair's coming along. Actually, kinda zooming through this, relatively speaking. So I'll take it. And I think it's looking pretty good. My ability to draw lines has gone up, and I like that. If you look closely at your own art, sometimes it can be hard to spot, but if you look closely, you can see yourself doing better in real time. You can see yourself just able to do a few more things than you were able to even last week if you squint hard enough. It can be hard to tell week by week, but month by month I think is very doable, if you draw a lot at least. If you're only drawing one picture a month, maybe not, but if you're drawing regularly, I think it's possible. But you gotta look for it. Year by year is definitely easy. That's why there's always that challenge of redrawing something that you drew last year. Very common. I see it very commonly around New Year's. They're just like, yeah, go draw the thing. Go redraw a thing that you did last year and see how awesome you are. I don't generally like to do that. And if I do, I put a different spin on it. Strictly speaking, that short that I put out yesterday, the drawing of Ava Hawthorne from Variance Project. Strictly speaking, that was kind of half of a redraw. I drew this one drawing of Ifrit from Arknights. I don't know how long ago it was, but it was a while, and I thought it was... I still think it's probably one of the best things I ever drew. So I decided to try to recapture that energy with Ava there, because that pose suited her. She has this particularly witchy cackle that I thought that kind of pose suited very well. So I decided, let's go ahead and try to draw that. I'll try to capture the same energy. And this time I wanted to focus really hard on the hair, because for one, Ava's hair is a nightmare, and it's all over the place, man. I've said as anime girls go, Nitty does not have very much hair. As anime girls go, Ava has a lot of hair, and that's saying something. So I focused a lot of that, and then just besides her hair being such a thing, I considered it the biggest weakness with the original drawing, so I wanted to pay careful attention to it. And I do think that the hair came out pretty good, but I still think in terms of how much I personally like it, I still think the Ifrit one came out a little bit better. Which, it can be a little disappointing when that happens, but it's okay. It's all good. I don't think it was bad, though. There was just, something about that Ifrit drawing that just, it speaks to me. It might just be the fire. Yeah, I do think the effects on it were actually pretty good. Probably some of the best fire I have drawn, like, ever. So I guess I did kinda do a little bit of a redraw. But I used different subject matter and did something a little different. It's very purple. I always approve of making things more purple. Okay, how does this work exactly? I have to think about this real quick, because how does the strand actually come up here? I think it's like this. And then... like that, yeah. Okay, and then this is all just the back of her head. And that'll be nice and easy to draw. And then I can get into pigtail hell. Here we go. Once I figure out how to draw a straight line. It's okay. Straight lines are hard. There's just a little bump right there that I don't like. There we go. Working out just like last couple of bumps here. Okay. These are all just little strands. So I think what I have here is fine. I erased some down there. I'll put them back. But they all got kind of messed up while I was working on everything else. So, yeah, just gotta get them back there. And then I just gotta make all these little guys straight, because right now they're not. They've got that blob quality to them. There we go, that's fine. That's not too blobby, that's okay. And then we just get rid of the blobbiness here, and I think all is well. Okay, and I think that is her entire front hair. She looks so funny without her pigtails. Some anime girls look really cute with just their front hair. I don't know, I think she looks a little bit weird without her pigtails. There we go, isn't that just much cuter? Let's turn them on and get them all figured out. Okay. Huh, okay, it's a hole. Oh, I just drew on the wrong layer, shoot. Yes. No. Okay, all better. I do that more than I'd like to admit. It's fine. Yeah, so just kind of go down the pigtail here. And it'll be great. Okay, just gotta take hair rendering nice and easy. Yeah, definitely don't want to rush it. This is still all stuff that's on her head, near her face. So I don't like to mess around. I gotta make sure I get all the details right. This is not the area to say close enough. And that's fine. No, it must be good. It'll be an area that people see. I do think that getting my hair into a state where I was happy with how it looked helped my drawing a lot. Just because it is so important. Okay. What is even going on here? I have no idea. It's fine. I think a lot of that is probably just artifacts from when I was smoothing out the edges. I don't tend to pay that much attention to what I'm doing when I'm just trying to get the edges smooth. So it ends up with all kinds of silly things just all over the place. Sometimes I go look at it and I'm just like, man, past self, what the heck were you doing? It's okay. I do my best to actually understand what she was putting down, because, I don't know, past self has some good ideas. Some of them are kind of stupid, but some of them are pretty good. And, if I try to understand what's happening, then I can take some of the pretty good ones and carry them into the future. Make some pretty good stuff. I don't think I mind this side being a little bit thicker than this side. It'll kind of make it look like it's curling back. So using this as kind of half a shadow too. There's kind of two ways that I use shadows here, because I could totally justify making this a thicker shadow too. I like to use them as plane changes a lot. So when something turns. I like to use the lines here to show a different side of things. That's probably the most common one, but I think it looks okay with the thick line being back here today this time. I think that works. Oh, that's... Really? Okay, that must be part of the ribbon. I don't really want the ribbon to be blending in with the hair, so I am going to make sure that it's a little bit more clear. So I'm just going to put a little bit of a green line around things. Just a little bit here. There we go. And then I'll carry on as usual. For a second there, I was confused because I was like, wait, is this strand not part of the pigtail? Is it part of the front hair? Then why is it so messy? I just finished the front hair, and I was very concerned. But no, it was just because of the ribbon. And I don't really like the way that the shadow of the ribbon was blending in with the shadow of the hair. So, yeah, that sounds like a good spot to put in a random green line and separate them a little bit. Sounds good to me. I think that's one of the joys of stylized art, in that what matters is not the reality, but the reality and impression that you wish to create. I've been wanting to read about art history a little bit, actually. I'm just very curious about how people kind of study and talk about art. As I like talking about art, and knowing some of the historical context behind some of the more famous pieces, I think could be pretty valuable. It's been a little bit on the back burner. I've been doing a lot of things, but with the more I keep talking about giving certain impressions, I've been wanting to read a little bit more about the rise of Impressionism. Now, when most people think of Impressionism, they're thinking more of the... a kind of... I'll call them messier styles. I don't think that's entirely accurate, but a little bit more messy, a little bit less realistic, I guess, of like Monet and Van Gogh and the like. But I'm under the impression that the Impressionist movement actually encompassed a lot more than that, and a lot more different styles. So, I don't know, I think it'd be interesting to kind of look into that, some of their philosophies and whatnot. I'm also under the impression that, like, Cubism was a branch of Impressionism, and that kind of thing. But don't quote me on that. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just kind of want to study more. I think it's all very interesting. Let's see. Her body's kind of in the way here. So let's go hide some things. Get rid of her arms. Don't need those right now. We don't need bats. Or a torso for that matter. No, none of those things are needed right now. It's all good. Okay, there we go. Now we got a floating head with the legs. Sounds like most VTubers. So, let's keep going. And I see a couple more holes. But yeah, I'm kind of interested in looking into some of that, and it might be a little while before I have time, though, because the other thing that I've been looking into is actually reading through some religious texts. I kind of want to see the ideas that manage to survive the ages. And it's hard to get much older than a lot of the old religions. So I read the Tao Te Ching. I think I finished it like last month, actually, before the turn of the new year. It was interesting, very fluffy. And some of the things in there made me think, man, wouldn't it be nice if the world actually worked that way? But I was also very amused by their depictions of water, of being gentle and soft. Because that is not how I see water at all. These people, to be fair, you know, they were the ancient Chinese, and I don't know how much white water is in that area. But I can tell that these guys have never seen white water, or had gone whitewater rafting. So I just always found such comparisons funny. And right now, next on my list is the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali. So that would be like some of the founding documents of Hinduism and the like. So that's what I'm reading right now, very slowly, because it could be hard to read some of those things while I have kids running around and wanting attention. But I feel like the East Asian stuff is written pretty simply. Actually, I think a lot of religious texts are written pretty simply because they want more people to be able to understand them. They want normal people to be able to interact with it. So a lot of that is pretty short. I imagine a lot of it was passed down via oral tradition. So short enough that people could remember it. And that is actually really helpful for reading while I'm watching my kids. I wanted to read some Ralph Waldo Emerson since he commented on Taoism in English. And I wouldn't have to rely on funny Chinese translations. But, oh man! It's so hard to read when there are tiny humans in the room. So hard. It's like God, trying to read anything like that while there is React slop playing on the TV in the background. And I'm just like, I can't do it! So that's kind of the advantage of short stanzas. But it's been interesting. Been interesting going over the things that I agree with, the things I don't. Laughing at some of the metaphors. I think taking more of an effort to understand people and how they work and how they think, it's all very worth. And very interesting. I think that's also why I'm into things like neuroscience and whatnot, because I think with as intrinsically connected as our body and mind is, that figuring out those things will not only help you understand other people, but will also help you understand yourself, and it's very, very useful. When I was younger, I think I put more effort into trying to fight my body. But, no. You gotta work with it. You gotta work together. It sucks. But it's true. I certainly know I can't do anything when I'm sick. It's the worst. Depending on how sick I am, of course, but it's legitimately the worst. This is why my personal fantasy is being able to be a brain in a jar. Be able to think with at least fewer bodily constraints. But I'm pretty sure that won't actually happen in my lifetime, so such is life. We're getting there, though. I was talking with people about hip replacements the other day. Because my mother-in-law had to get one a while back, and she's actually doing quite well. And it's really cool what they do there. They basically pull apart your muscles and just take out the bones. And then a computer will measure a copy based on what's there. And then suddenly you just literally have hips made out of metal. And I think that's super metal. It's cool as hell. I'm not gonna get it done for no reason, of course, but it's still really cool. We are one step closer to being able to be a proper biological machines, and I am all for it. Like, people have lots of doom about computers taking over the world, but I for one welcome our robot overlords. I think a lot of the people... Well, no, I shouldn't say that, but, there's a lot of existential dread about robots taking our jobs, and, you know, for a good reason. I think it is likely to happen, eventually, but, I just remember what customer support used to be like, especially in online games and the like. Before we had bots that could take care of a bunch of things for us. And let me tell you, it was pretty annoying. I think in a lot of ways customer support is worse because rather than focusing on the experience, they're trying to get rid of as many people as possible and trying to save as much money as possible, and that's not gonna go well. But if you use the bots to actually improve the experience, make it so that you can answer basic questions without having to wait in a phone line, that's actually very useful. One example that comes up a lot that I hear is within, like, World of Warcraft. I don't play World of Warcraft, but I've heard this a lot, where sometimes there would be item-related bugs, and you used to have to send out a ticket and wait for your turn in the queue, and it could take hours, if not days, for you to finally be responded to. And then eventually they put out a bot that could do it in under 3 minutes. And that sounds pretty fantastic. It's like the computers aren't smart enough to replace customer support agents for everything. But they can certainly do a lot, and automating certain things just makes sense. That's why you don't have a bunch of overworked customer support people, because it's not like the company is going to hire more people in order to make their employees not overworked. Like, let's be real, that's never going to happen. So that's where bots were nice, and now that the robots are starting to get into fields that people really want to break into, because I don't think most people want to be a customer support agent. It kind of sucks. In a lot of ways. Kind of like working at McDonald's. Nobody really wants to do it, but you do. You do when you have to. But now that I just feel like now that the robots are starting to break into fields that people are a little bit more interested in, suddenly there's a big outcry. But when they were taking cleaning jobs or customer support positions, there was a lot less, and that kind of thing bothers me on some level, but some of the outrage on AI feels very performative to me. Because somehow I don't think that these people would be in favor of getting rid of the customer support bots. And I've heard some people in some of these other more fun and desirable jobs being like, yeah, the robots were supposed to just clean for us and do the things that nobody wants to do. As though cleaning for a living is so terrible and something that no one really wants to do. I don't think that's true, by the way. I think that cleaning is a perfectly admirable profession. And I have seen people that are very proud of what they do. And then I think sometimes artists are a little bit either pretentious or dishonest about what we do. Because not every asset needs to be a grand piece of art. And for the record, I don't blame people for fighting against AI and these things. Having a job is important right now. It is. I fully acknowledge that. But let's be real, making a blob cat clone game, mobile game number 512, does not require inspired art generation. Putting some basic symbols into a deck builder game or something on the card just so it has some art, looks a little bit nicer, does not... It's not the same as, say, producing merch illustrations for a VTuber company or something. And I think people that are claiming that they're putting their soul into Blobcat clone game number 512 are, probably got some problems. But no, I do not blame anyone for fighting to keep their jobs tooth and nail. It's all good. That is totally reasonable reaction. Totally expected reaction. I'd be more surprised if they didn't. I've just been thinking about the nature of humanity a lot lately. I had to get off Twitter for a while because the implications of what Twitter says about humanity is too sad. I'll still upload art there, but oh boy. I always keep telling myself that it'd be useful to be a little bit more active on social media. But then I try, and I get depressed. So, well, we'll see how that works out. You know, if there are people that really want to talk to me there, I do check my notifications, but I might not venture outside my bubble very often. I just know that there are lots of communities now are kind of congregated on Twitter and Discord and the like. But every time I try to get involved, I'm just like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know where to look. And every time I find something, it always comes with all this weird baggage, and I'm not sure if I want to deal with it. Oh, life is hard. And I just fully acknowledge that the way I socialize and relate to people is weird. I mean, I don't think it's weird, but it's not common. I think that's a better way to put it. Because I seriously struggle to just talk to people. Have a normal conversation. It's hard. And I generally just find talking to be kind of dull. And generally when I talk, I'm talking about what I'm doing or something else, you know, something specific. I don't know how people can just talk about food. I legitimately don't. Every time it happens, I just kind of want to die. There are exceptions. Even the weather I can kind of accept, especially if you're outside, because at least that's relevant to what's happening, like, right now. And I also think it's different to talk about food with a normal person than it is to talk about food with a chef or somebody that really likes cooking. That's totally different. The way they talk about it, totally different. But I'm just talking about, you know, Bob down the street. Talking about food. And I cannot do it. I cannot just talk about anything. I kind of want to work on that for stream purposes. Where I could just get better at yapping at whatever. But, my god. Me as I am now. Definitely cannot. And it's not like I think that there's anything wrong about talking about food or anything. I always use it as my go-to example. Because it happened with, anime in particular, or anime and video games in particular. I started observing it very consciously when I'm playing Tales of Arise, so this is relatively recently. But, I knew that any scene that came up where the characters started talking about food, that absolutely nothing was gonna happen in that scene. It could be removed from the game, and the game would be identical. And so I just get to those scenes and I just be like, oh no, they're talking about food again. Send help. And that was where I made the strongest observation. And then I realized that it just kept happening all the time in real life. I started seeing it everywhere. I used to be highly involved in a bunch of role-playing communities. And I would try to keep up with the community on Discord and try to talk to people and be a little bit more social. But I just noticed that there were so many people where pretty much the only thing that they would talk about is one of three things. Food, general complaining about pain and that kind of thing, and complaining about work or school, depending on age. And that was basically all that they would talk about. And occasionally, since that these were generally communities full of weebs, occasionally they talk about gacha games. Which... nothing against them or people that want to talk about games they play, but... what they could talk about was fairly limited. And I was just never able to talk about these things. Like, I tried to talk about characters and things that was happening in character and stuff, and a lot of the time the conversation would die down. I'd go do something else. And when I came back, it's food. All day, every day. And so I just found myself having a great deal of difficulty talking to people. I have nothing against small talk, by the way. For me, it's not wanting to get to deep conversation or anything like that. No, I don't care. It's fine. We can talk about stupid things. I just had a very long and very fun conversation with my husband the other night while we were playing video games together about poop. Like, I don't care. It's fine. But, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I always tend to relate to people via what I'm doing and activities that we do together. And so I find it hard to just talk about things. I do. I do find it very difficult. And I think it's why I always got so salty in the role-playing communities that I was in when people got busy and stopped posting. Because it, to me, felt like I was basically losing all my friends. Because we were no longer doing stuff together. And I just lost the entirety of my social interaction with that group. Or at least the entirety of the social interactions that I found enjoyable. And then I'd try to keep up with interactions that I generally found less enjoyable. And it would stress me out. And then I'd get angry, because that's what happens when I get stressed out. I get mad at everything. So, it was always very, very sad. And I think that's part of why I like streaming, because then the focus is on stuff I'm doing instead of, whatever random thing. Random inconsequential things. I think this is why I'll probably never be a hardcore yapper. Because I think in order to be a hardcore yapper, you kind of have to like, talking for the sake of it. And I don't mean that in a bad way. That sounds bad when I put it like that, but I don't think it's a bad thing. There are just some people that just really, really enjoy talking to people. And, for whatever reason, that their brain is wired to relate to people through conversation. And I'd actually say that's more normal than the way my brain is wired to relate to people. That's why people talk. And I say all that, but I'm honestly not sure what I said or where I'm going with that, so who knows? Maybe there's hope for my yap potential yet. I am thinking about it. I have been thinking about what kind of things I like talking about, and what kind of interactions that I personally find very positive and enjoyable. Because I think when you're doing something like streaming, finding the way you connect to people is really important. Because if I try to connect to people in a way that I find annoying and stressful, I think people will be able to sense that. And nobody will have fun. And I think that would be very sad. But if I can find ways to connect with people in ways that I do find very enjoyable, and do find fun, and it does not stress me out, then I think what I talk about will be much more exciting and fun to everyone. And, so, you know, that's why I'm going through reading stuff about people, trying to understand people a little bit better. You know, no judgment or anything. But the way that I have a tendency to just bluntly and deadpanly say stuff, I'm always worried that I come off as insulting when it's not my intention. Genuinely, I do just want to understand. And that, more than anything, is what I am trying to do. Yeah, I think it's a good way to be. I think more of the world, rather than judging people, should simply try to understand them. And I think it's a great way to understand yourself, too. But more importantly, it's like, I think, once I'm able to do that, I'll be able to have a lot more fun with people. And the fact that I decided I wanted to stream alone tells me that I'm not interested in playing the game of life solo. I want to play with other people. And I don't necessarily want to be disconnected from everything. I just feel that way because the way I relate to everything is weird. Weird as in, not how most people do it. I don't think it's a bad thing, not at all. But I need to learn how to deal with it, and how I can go out and do these things in a way that actually makes me happy instead of just mad and frustrated. Because that's kind of how I've been feeling with a large portion of my interactions with people lately. But it's been clear to me because I actually did think long and hard for a while about whether or not I basically wanted to forsake society and go get a farm in the Himalayas or something. And I mean, I knew that the answer would always be no because I had children, and that's not really conducive to raising children. But even without that, I still think the answer would have been no. And this was something I seriously thought about for a long time. But like, I'm not even making a joke. I know a lot of people like to joke about these things. No, there is no joke here. I am dead serious. I seriously consider just, taking my ball and going home, basically. And just deciding I did not want to be part of any of this anymore. The feelings still come up sometimes. I just know that I have reached an answer there that I am satisfied with. I might do more strand effects on her front hair here too, but let's do the pigtails first. So, yeah, I'm gonna figure that out. And one of the things that I really noticed was that I think that for a while, especially when I get extremely stressed and I'm just super angry at everything, that I was a little bit too prone to judging people a little bit too harshly. Or just not trying hard enough to understand. And I think it actually is a legitimate problem in a lot of places, especially for people that are clumsy with words, where because they're clumsy with words, they often put their foot in their mouth and say things that upset people because the people don't really try to understand what they say. They only react to what they heard. And I think such things can be dangerous. And a little bit unfortunate, because I think that people can learn a lot from each other. I do think that combining your ideas with other people is a great way to foster personal growth. Alright, yeah, I think I'm gonna get the other pigtail before I go back and add some hair texture to the main hair, because I do like just the little bit of hair texture I put in this. I like it a lot. Now let's go ahead and finish off the other pigtail. But I don't know, I see a lot of people judging people for weird things and not actually looking at the content of what they're saying. Especially problematic on Twitter. And it's like, man, you think it'd be way better, or that people on Twitter would be way better about it, considering that you only have, like, what, 200 characters to work with? Like, come on, you can't say anything real specific and good in that. Stop trying to be mad. It's sad. But if there's one thing that I've realized while trying to understand things better, it's the nature of loving something and loving the world. And I think for a while, I was pretty content to ignore a lot of bad things and just try to focus on positive things. Probably necessary for the stage of life I was in. I went through a period where things were pretty sad, and I was very sad. But, you know, I got better, and I think that truly, if you want to say you love the world, you have to look at it straight in the face. You can't hide all the dirty things under the rug and say, I love you. Like, no, that's not how it works. Because that's just saying, well, I'd love you if you weren't like this, this, and this. And that's not what love's about. Love is about accepting all the parts. It's about staring the negative parts in the face and being like, yeah, I still love you. It's fine. You know, it doesn't even have to be fine. But it's looking at all of those things and still be able to truly say from the bottom of your heart, I love the world. And I've kind of gotten to that point. Doesn't mean that you don't want to make things better or that you don't want to change things, but that you just kind of acknowledge that, you know, this is the way things are. It is what it is, as they say. So, I've at least been able to reach that point, and I'm kind of glad. I have stopped feeling the need to develop reality warping powers in order to make the world the way I think it should be. Feels good, honestly. It's a good way to be, I think. Alright, and with all that, one pigtail is done, and now, you know, just starting on the next one. And sometimes when I start rambling, I don't even always know what I'm saying. That time I mostly did, but I do think that there's more good things than bad things in the world. There's a reason I decided not to forsake society and go buy a farm in the middle of nowhere. Why I'm not going to go live off-grid. And why I'm still going to continue streaming and doing my best to figure out how I connect to people. Now my nose is all runny. Alright. always wish I knew why my nose starts running when I start talking a lot. It's kind of unfortunate. It used to happen all the time when I ate, too. It's weird. Bodies are the worst. I hate it. I still look forward to the day that I can be a brain in a jar. Have a sweet robot body to pilot. That's gonna be awesome. Bodies are highly overrated, in my opinion. They just get in the way, and you have to do things like sleep and all this maintenance work, and Honestly, with the amount of drawing that I've been doing, one of a personal fear is just that something is going to happen to my hand. Not even from doing something silly, but from drawing too much, and I'm just not going to be able to draw for a while. And oh god, that just sounds like hell. Like, what am I even going to do if I can't draw? I try not to think about it too much, and I just try to take good care of my hands otherwise. Make sure that I stretch it. Fortunately, despite how much stuff I've been doing lately, they don't actually hurt or anything. So, whatever I'm doing, it seems to be working. Couldn't necessarily tell you what it is, but it's working, so yeah, life is good. I'll take it. Now, I'm looking at the shadow on the ribbon here, and I'm debating. Does the fact that we see both corners, is that enough to make me not want to have a green line here? This side, I think, actually looks better without the green line. I just want to adjust this part a little bit, so this way we see the corner of the ribbon more clearly. So the ribbon on the other side was basically completely covered in shadow. So we did not see both corners. And so the presence of the ribbon was very weak. And it was a little bit unclear where it began and where it ended and what some of these shadows on the hair were. So that's why I felt the need to put some to put that green line around it. It needed to be more clear. But here I think it's perfectly clear since we see both corners. We'll see if I feel the same when I zoom out, but so far so good. I like talking about art. Art is great. Sometimes I get the urge to find some time to watch more anime and play more games off stream just so I have more stuff to talk about. I'll see how much time I can find for this. I get the feeling it'll... I am hopeful that once my kids get a little bit bigger, that they too will enjoy the weeb life, and we can enjoy many an anime together. I'm not sure what their tastes are like yet. My son, I know, definitely has potential, because having never watched Naruto or anything like that, he started doing the ninja run last year. You know, just head forward, arms back, kind of bent over. It was a perfect replica of the Naruto ninja run. And in his mind, he was firing rocket boosters out of his hands. Or his hands were rocket boosters, I think is a more accurate way to say it. So, that was cute. That was absolutely adorable, and I love him. I do. He is wonderful. So, I think he's got potential. It's less clear to me whether or not my daughter is gonna have the anime energy within her. I think she's got some potential, but she doesn't have as many clear signs. She did like watching me play Infinity Nikki, though, so I do think she likes a general art style. So, you know, I'll see how it shakes out. But I'm always hopeful that we'll enjoy a lot of the same things. At the very least, she does seem to enjoy games, at least certain games. Because, oh man, my kids have been super cute lately. They've been doing a lot of playing together. And one of their favorite things is to play a game called Toka Blocks together. It's basically toddler Minecraft. Where it's a 2D game where you get certain color blocks and you can place them anywhere. So there's no real obstacles or anything. It's just about building stuff. And you can combine blocks together to make new blocks. And they have unlocked so many blocks. We've been doing a lot of potty training stuff with my son because he's that age. And he laughed very hard when we unlocked the toilet. If you're ever wondering how my husband and I could spend a bunch of time joking and talking about poop, it comes with the territory when you have a toddler. Don't worry about it. If you ever have children, the same thing will happen to you. My condolences, but it will. But yeah, they've been playing that game together, and it is so cute. They both have little Amazon Fire tablets, and they will sit on the couch together and just build stuff. Giggling up a storm and just show each other the things that they're building. And sometimes they'll even switch tablets and work on each other's worlds, and it is so adorable. Cutest thing ever. They have such a good sibling dynamic, it's incredible. So, I think there's potential. I just gotta find the things that they like. And gotta bond together over mutual interests instead of me trying to force what I like onto them. I can encourage it. I remember last year I tried to get my daughter to play The Sims with me for a little bit. She wasn't super into it. But I think she might be this year. I might try again this year. Nose is so itchy. Yeah, so I might try again this year. Because I think she'd like it. She really, really likes babies. She is going to be a fantastic mom someday. She just loves babies and everything related to them. So I'm also hopeful that I'll get to be a grandma. But hopefully not for a long time still. She's got a lot of growing up to do, and I want her to find her footing before she goes on and creates new life. But I'm looking forward to it. But I am hopeful that I'll be able to play The Sims together with her soon. And she could have a nice baby within The Sims to take care of. It'll be very cute. I did try to make our family at one point, and It held her interest for a little while. But she just wasn't super into it. But she's grown a lot in the past year. I am amazed at how quickly little kids change. How fast they learn. Even my son especially, very different than how he was last year. This time last year. Night and day. He still can't really take care of himself very well yet. Still needs us to do pretty much everything to help him out. But he's getting there. And he's just so much more interested in a lot of things. And he has opinions now. Last year, his sister could basically bully him into doing whatever she wanted. Just say, no, you gotta do this. You gotta do it. And just kind of use raw force of personality and also being 2.5 years older to make him do anything. But now he'll just say, no, I don't want to. And he'll even make suggestions on what to do instead. So that's pretty incredible. Just not being able to be bullied by his older sister anymore. Huge difference. Raising children is way more exciting than people give it credit for, because there certainly is a lot of poop. I mean, there's a reason I was able to talk about poop with my husband and make lots of poop jokes. But there's a lot more to it than that. And they just change so much, so fast. That you can pretty much always expect something a little bit new, very frequently. Keeps you on your toes. And it's really not the same thing every week. I mean, I've said I don't get out much, but that's just my nature. I like being inside. A lot of what I like to do is inside. But with the kids in the house, my days, that they can look similar sometimes. But I find myself doing lots and lots of different things. And with my daughter starting, she started school last year, and for a while, her only real influences, were us, her immediate family, because she spent the most time with us. Hold on, I got an itch. She spent the most time with us, and she didn't really see very many people. She didn't. I mean, we mostly stayed home, and I mean, I'd take her out to go to the park a lot, and that kind of thing. But the only time she saw people is while I was there, too. But now she's at school, and she has friends at school, and teachers, and all these other things. And I can tell that they are influencing her somewhat. And it's a little bit of a scary thought. But it also means that she's bringing home new thoughts and ideas on a regular basis that did not come from, me and the rest of her immediate family. So there's just all kinds of new stuff. And she's doing so many interesting things. And she also found some, toddler art tutorials on YouTube. And she's been having an absolute blast following them. And I never told her to go seek those things out, but the algorithm, just based on what she was choosing to watch occasionally, apparently thought that she'd like that, and it was entirely correct, of course, but it's really cool. Just seeing all the things that she's doing now. And for a really long time, she had basically no interest in any academic subjects whatsoever. I tried to get her interested in certain things, but it just wasn't really working, and I didn't try to force it. As far as I was concerned, she could count to about 30, and that was fine for starting kindergarten. I didn't really feel the need to pressure her to be able to do more. I figured it would come with time, and boy, did it. Now she's on a regular basis asking me, what's this number plus this number. So, like 5 plus 2, or whatever random number she happens to feel like talking about that day. Happens all the time. And she's been more interested in reading. She likes to read books, and sometimes for a while, I thought she only did it because she wanted to stall bedtime. And for a while, I think that was actually true. I do think that was probably accurate. But I don't think that's true anymore. I think she's actually somewhat interested in what she's reading. Not always. But sometimes. And I've told her that once she gets really good at reading and writing, she'll be able to do things like text her friends and be able to talk to people that aren't in the same room as her, and that's given her some motivation. But frankly, I think starting school, she's just way more interested in the world. She's realized that there's just a lot out there, and it's interesting. She's very curious. Hello there, Sprout. Welcome back. Oh yeah, children change a lot and very fast, and they are incredibly interesting. And I think child rearing has a bit of a bad rap, but no, it's great. It's fantastic. Highly recommend it. Don't try to do it yourself, though. Being a single parent sounds like hell. I don't like that one. I guess the strand is probably fine. I'll add a few more little hair texture lines in here, though. Yeah. Alright. Smooth out this guy, and I think... yeah, I'll go add a few more bits of hair texture up at the top there. But otherwise, I think that this is looking pretty good. That'll be it for the pigtails, actually. Once I get those done, I want to add a little bit more hair texture to the front hair. But otherwise, I am well on my way to finishing hair today. I have been greatly enjoying that. The process that I use now has me getting hair out of the way early. So I get like the hardest, most time-consuming part of the picture out of the way right at the beginning. And I'm just like, hell yeah. So I know things can only get easier from here. Feels good. So now I just want to go back through and make some of these things a little bit more hair-like. I want to keep it pretty simple, though. I am not going to push too much complexity with these little strands. I don't think it's necessary. I think it all looks pretty okay the way it is. But I do think a little bit helps make it look just a little bit more hair-like. It gives a more solid hair-like impression. And that's what matters to me here. make it a point to kind of vary up the length and width of them all. Whether they're on the top and the bottom. All that good stuff. It makes it look a little bit more hair-like. I'm even gonna let some green kind of escape into the shadows there. Okay, but I think that should be pretty alright. I might want to... Yeah, let's put a little strand there too. Okay. Fortunately, hair is one of those things where you can pretty much do whatever you want and it'll look like hair. It's pretty hard to mess up. So it's a perfect time to just kind of play around and try things and see what happens. Be free. Hair is meant to be free. Let's see. Let's get a bigger one up there. Yeah. That looks pretty good. And I can just let a few more little strands just go out there and, you know, once again, be free. Because hair must be free. Nose itchy. I don't know why it keeps happening. I wish it would stop. I'm thinking about what I want to draw for off stream next. I actually haven't completely decided. I have some ideas. But we'll see how it all turns out. I've been having fun playing with light lately. I like light. Light is fun. It's probably my favorite thing to draw. That's why I like drawing so many things with super intense light. I don't think this counts as super intense light, but I still think it looks pretty cool. Alright, let's go ahead and kind of finish off the front. So let's see, how do I want to handle some hair texture here? Because I don't want to overdo it. And here, I could put some coming off of this, for example. I think that'll make it look nice. And we'll just make things look a little bit more hair-like. Just a little. It'll be great. And then I think I can probably get a good amount of mileage on the stuff up top here. For making things look a little bit more hair-like. We'll just send some of these strands a little further down and see what happens. I don't think this guy really needs a lot. I'll give him a little one. Just so he doesn't feel too left out. Sounds good to me. So right now everything is just very, very controlled. So I'm just trying to add a little bit more chaos into this. Chaos can be useful, go figure. Especially in something like hair, I think. Now this I actually want to keep pretty separated here. So I don't want any shadows coming out here, but I do want some coming out this way. Because that is how this is working. this is casting a shadow onto here, and that's what that shadow represents. So I don't really want any shadow coming out there. Similarly, the same thing is happening with this strand to here. So I don't want any of this shadow coming out here. I think that'll look weird. Kinda same here. So this guy probably won't get as much little bits of hair texture. It's like I could potentially do something like that, but I don't think I will. We'll see how I feel when I zoom out and if it needs anything just a little bit more. But now these strands kind of rolling back up here into the back of her head. I think I actually can make some come out of there. It's different. Why? I don't entirely know, but it's different. I can tell you that. Okay, and these I want to keep pretty separated. So I think I can make a little bit come out here, but nah. I changed my mind. I'm not going to do it. I looked. I was like, It's okay. I tried. The idea was not dismissed out of hand. It was tried. So I'm just gonna go around up here and we'll add some strands. It'll be great. And that will do most of hair. I think I will do the highlights before I move on, though. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. In this case, I think I will. So we only got a little bit more to do here. So it looks like I will have a little bit of time to work on the face. Heck yeah, I love drawing faces. Hey. Yeah, I don't really want this shadow to be going into this bit of hair. Got a little blob right there that I want to work out. Must be straight, no curves allowed. Everything must be very, very straight. It is required. Alright, but I am almost through all of this hair. And then I'll zoom out and see if anything else needs a little bit more texturing. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a few places that I feel like are lacking. That's pretty normal. But it's okay, we can get him there. We can catch him up to everything. And all will be well. I will not neglect any of the hair here. So lately, I have been lightly playing Blue Protocol and the new update that they put out there. I used to be super into MMOs, so I don't know, MMOs slop still just absolutely hits my brain in the right way that I can have fun with it. I'm not sure if I'd call it a good game, but it does hit my brain right, so... I'll probably play it for a little bit. I'm a little bit sad that it looks like anime MMOs are taking cues from gacha games and are wanting to try very, very hard to get people to log in every day. That was somewhat true even back when I was playing, but I feel like it's worse now. So that'll probably mess with my brain a little bit. We'll see if I'll be able to play it for an extended period of time, or if that will start driving me insane. I don't like feeling obligated to play games. I want to play games on my terms when I feel like it. That's when I think they're the best. That's why I say I wouldn't necessarily call it particularly good, but it absolutely does hit my brain in the right way. So I've been having a pretty good time. It's been a nice break, just playing something that's pretty easy and where I don't have to think too hard. And just running around and derping. They definitely made some weird choices in what they were giving to new players with the update, because they just immediately level you up to max level, and I'm like, what? So now I have all these abilities and stuff. I don't know what they do. I don't know how to play the game, and it's a little awkward, honestly. So I can see that I'm supposed to be reaching all these milestones and stuff, but, like, you already gave me max level. Like, nothing here is special. So it's been a bit weird in that regard. But, you know, it's fine. I think. I mean, I wouldn't recommend running your MMO like this, but given what I want out of it, an MMO right now, I think it'll be okay. I haven't tried to talk to anyone yet. I might at some point. I'll see how that works out. Let's try some highlights. But otherwise, I don't know. I don't have too much to say on it. It is very thoroughly MMO slop. And if you liked silly Korean MMOs from 10 years ago, well, it'll probably still hit that. I wouldn't say it really does anything unique. But oh man. Does it do just exactly what I wanted right now? I'll see if I ever feel like playing it on stream. It's like, I'm not doing anything particularly interesting at the moment. I'm just kinda playing through main quests and figuring things out there. But to be fair, I get the feeling that even once I finish that stuff, most of what I'll be doing is running around collecting flowers, you know, as you do. So, who knows? Might be perfect content for when I would just want to practice raw yapping. And I could see a day coming where I want to do that, so perhaps. So I'm kind of picturing the light kind of shining right at her, so I'm putting the highlights in the middle, and making them a little bit bigger than the ones that'll come later. So I'm gonna... what direction should they go? Yeah, they should go down. I'm currently having them going up. So just to explain what I mean there, there's kind of two ways that highlights can go, depending on how your head is curving. They can go wrap around this way, or they can wrap around this way. And the way I had it, it looked like I was going to try to make it go this way, but I think for what I have, it makes more sense for them to go this way. So as far as I'm concerned, they are going down from the middle. And that's all I mean. So, super simple stuff. But good to think about explicitly. Especially for someone like me that is super dyslexic about everything. Literally everything. And sometimes I can start drawing the exact opposite of what I intended, and it's all very sad, because then I have to go back and redo a lot of things, and nobody wants that. Have you seen how many times I've drawn hands backwards? It's the worst. So, I like to think about these things very deliberately and explicitly. And just to make sure I'm actually doing what I want to do and not, literally the opposite of what I want to do. It's all very silly. No, I want to send you guys down just a little bit more. So a bit more like this. There we go. And I don't think I need to go overboard on the highlights here. I like to add lots of little highlights when I'm drawing normally. But here, stylistically, I just feel like it's a little bit different. So I don't think I need to go too hard. Alright, looks good to me. Seeing what it looks like with all my layers turned off, it just makes me laugh every time. It looks very silly. But yeah, I think that's a good direction for the highlights. I think right now they're all a little bit too samey, but I can kinda straighten that out as I go through here. Right now they are following an appropriate path. And that's kind of what matters. Or figuring out is what matters when I'm zoomed out like that. Alright. So I just want to make all of this much more angular. Right now there is a lot of little curves in there, and that's normal when I first start drawing things. I think that my style is very angular, but this brings it to a whole new level, where I say no curves are allowed and everything must be straight. Only straights allowed. So, I gotta make sure I work all of those little curves out. I kinda dig it. I kinda dig it stylistically. I think it's great. Alright. This stuff feels a little bit too curved to me, so let's get that a little bit straighter. I'm still hopeful that I'll be able to get into the face today, but I don't want to rush these little highlights. I want to get them just right. The fact that her hair is a nice bright color means I may or may not put lines around them. I'll have to think about that. No, given the nature of the style, I do think that they will look better with lines around them. I'll probably do it with a stroke. And then just do some work around the edges to make them a little more pointy. Yeah, that sounds good. Let's get them drawn first, and then I'll worry about all that. Yeah, highlights are great. I feel like highlights just really bring everything out. They just make everything better. That's when things get to be really shiny, and everyone loves shiny things. I've actually read that that is pretty hardwired into humans evolutionarily, in that we would seek out highly reflective water. And that's a theory for why humans like shiny things so much. Oh, no worries. Don't worry, I do not mind. Come when you feel like it. If you got stuff to do, you can just get up. You don't even have to tell me. As far as I'm concerned, stream should be fun. And watched on your terms. I do not want to be like the gacha game and make you log in every day. Pressure you into coming every day. Nah. It's hell in gaming, and I think it's hell in streams, too. I want to make things to be enjoyed. Well, I know Twitch does, like, the whole thing with channel points. I figure it's only a matter of time before YouTube adopts something similar. And doesn't Twitch also have a bunch of other kind of adjacent things? With, like, Amazon Prime drops and whatnot? So I would not be surprised if some people have tried to do that to get people to show up to everyone. But I do not intend to. I do have ultra low latency checked on mine, but I wouldn't know how much or better or worse that is compared to Twitch. Because I've never streamed on Twitch, and when I watch people, I don't tend to talk. So I'm very shy. Oh, possibly, yeah. I would not know. I think it's the default on mine now. At the very least, I haven't had to change it in a while. I used to have to change it more frequently. So I got used to looking, but I don't know, past couple of months, I have not had to change it at all. So that's been nice. I like having to do less work. It's wonderful. Even if it's just a simple button press. An extra thing to think about is an extra thing to think about. I see. Yeah, that does sound pretty hard. Alright, well, looks like we're about halfway through the front hair here. Just going through, making sure that the highlights look nice, getting them into slightly more interesting shapes, and of course, much more pointy. Because everything must be nice and straight here. No curves allowed in this art style. That is the choice I am choosing to make for images done in this particular style. And there we go. I'm just trying to make sure that the highlights do not overlap the black as much as possible. I don't think it needs to be pixel perfect in this case. So if I have, if I'm not quite up against the edge, I think it's okay. I'm trying to get real close though, especially since I intend to be adding some black lines around all of these a little bit later. And I'd like for that outline to bleed into my existing black areas, rather than extend them as much as possible. I just want a particular shape on this guy. There it goes. Wonderful. Okay, and so this is where my highlights start getting kind of samey. So I'm gonna make a point to vary them up a little bit more. I think the ones before now all look pretty good, though. So I just want to make sure that they don't get a little monotonous. I think that's kind of the important thing there. I just don't want it to feel monotonous. And whenever I'm drawing things, I do talk about feel a lot. And I do think that that is a very key word, actually. Because feelings are what give us a lot of our impressions about things. And I think a lot of art, being visual communication, is largely about imparting the feelings that you want the viewer to feel. And, you know, sometimes that's more literal in terms of, you know, making a sad picture feel sad, or maybe a picture like this feel kind of funny, mostly. With a little bit of, wow, she looks crazy. But it could be more subtle than that. Because here, I'm the shapes that I'm using, I think, make the picture feel a little bit more dramatic. And that's the kind of feeling that I want to go for. Ah. I mean, right now she's missing a body, which is always deeply unfortunate, but she'll get it back later, so it's okay. But sometimes the little things that can give a certain impression or feeling, they're little. They're little things. And it can be surprising how big of a difference that they can make. This is why I've been having kind of passing interest in the Impressionists, and I kind of want to look a little more into the Impressionist movement, study some art history stuff. History's interesting. And just understanding what was going on during those kinds of things, during that movement. I am curious. What the heck was I even going for here? I know exactly what I was going for there. I'm gonna make this guy a little bit smaller. Ah, yeah. I don't really have much of a formal background in art history. I did not go to art school. I am a programmer by trade. So, pretty much anything, even remotely art adjacent, assumed I hated art. So, there you go. Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't even do that much. So... Dude, programming's fantastic. As far as I'm concerned, talking to computers is like talking to the spirits. They will come and, give you answers, and you just gotta direct them in the right direction. They see. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with a lot of graphical stuff. Yes. Yeah, graphical stuff has changed a lot since I was doing it in school. So I am way out of date on pretty much all of it. And most of what I do, or most of what I did, rather, you know, when I actually had a job, was text parsing. So there you go. Text parsing and telling a robot to check the internet. And make sure that our software was working. Yeah, good job. That kind of thing is always fun. Yeah, I mean... I think making stuff like that is a nice culmination of all the skills that you developed. Because, I mean, it's not easy even to make a really, really rough game. Oh no. Oh, that's okay. Talking to the spirits is hard. Don't worry about it. As always. You know, art in general is just hard. Let me tell you. Programming is definitely an art. I'd say my quote-unquote native language was Perl, and I learned C# in school. And now, I don't know, I just kind of do what I want. It's been a while since I've done any real programming. It's like, for work, we just used Ruby for most of our automated tests, and then I did a bunch of stuff in Salesforce, which has its own language that is basically Java, but pretends like it's not, and sometimes is it when it doesn't feel like it. That's the best way to put it. It's basically black magic, so... Yeah, I mean, all very useful, very similar. They will definitely take you far. C# is still very popular, especially in games. I mean, the only reason that they're not dead is because they're used, because a lot of them are used in, like, mainframes, and a lot of older technology where it would be really hard to update it. So I'd be very surprised if he ever, like literally ever, yes, basically. So if you ever come across those in the wild, you are probably in a highly specialized field, or training to be in a highly specialized field. I really don't think you need to know them unless you just have an interest in history. Otherwise, it's basically useless knowledge. As much as I kind of hate that term, but it won't really help you do anything. I don't actually think any knowledge is useless, but yeah, I think it's accurate to say it won't really help you do anything. Terrifying. Me, having an interest in history, I actually did take a class on dead programming languages, so I am familiar. I have a passing familiarity with most of them. It's very interesting to see how far we've come. So, you know, no regrets taking that class. It was great. But I fully acknowledge that I'm probably not going to do much with that knowledge. And I'm pretty okay with that. I just think it's cool. And when I say I've only touched them, I mean it. I've really only touched them. I would not say I know any of them. I do not think I could be a mainframe technician. I could probably learn if I wanted. I don't know if I want, but... yeah. I don't even quite remember what I did. It's been a very long time since I've been at school. And I am okay with this. I have no desire to ever go to school. Never. As much as I like learning things, I have Wikipedia. We're fine. Very normal. I mean, it's not as bad as it used to be, but this problem has very much not gone away. In certain ways, it's getting worse. Like, I mentioned Salesforce basically wanting to use its own programming language for its thing, and that's pretty normal with a lot of proprietary software. Extremely, and it's annoying. But, you get used to it, I guess. Okay, that's why I describe programming as communing with the spirits. You just have to learn how they talk, and then they'll listen to you and grant you their blessings. It takes a little bit of time, and I think it's just as magical sometimes. Yep, that's about right. I doubt it'll ever go away because, I don't know, there's an XKCD comic about it, of just like, you know what we should do? We should, there are too many, standards out there. We should combine them all into one and just come up with something that everyone needs. And now, there's a new option out there. And that's basically all it amounts to. Yeah. Always. Yes, the hot new standards that works for everyone. And now there's just a new standard. And it'll keep happening because humans are arrogant. Hard to say. It's, I don't know. It's a whole thing. I think that's less of standards being important and more people realizing that if they don't do it, no one will buy their stuff. Because it won't be compatible with anything that they use. So I think that's more incidental than people being very generous. Alright, I'm gonna plop a stroke on this guy, and that'll be how I handle the outline. I just want to keep it small, though. Maybe a little bit more than that. There we go. Okay, so that's way easier than trying to just draw the line around it, so I'm gonna roll with it. But now I've got some stuff to clean up, and then I need to go make the ends a little bit pointier because, yeah, they're too round. Yeah. It's very convenient. Strokes are nice. Just right-click on your layer and go into layer style. Okay, that one doesn't look good. We're gonna reduce this then. And now that it looks different with lines on, I need to adjust certain ones of these little highlights. These things happen. It's all good. And then, you know, smooth things out that look a little bit more blobby now because the stroke makes all of my mistakes like 10 times more obvious. Every single one of them. God, look how choppy that is. No, not leaving it like that. No. Then I'm going to go through and clean up the residue. That'll be step 1. And then after that, I need to go and make the tips less round. Because, oh boy, are they rounder than I want them to be right now. I don't think stroke lines always work, but I think it looks fine here, so I'm gonna roll with it. And I think I want these to be a little further separated, so I'm actually... Why are you so thick? Stop it. Okay. I'm actually going to take this piece and pull it over here a little bit. Okay. Most of these I think are looking pretty alright though. But I will go through and check for any little bits of debris, like right there, or anything that just looks not smooth. But this is probably still faster than lining it all manually. Okay. Now to make things pointy again. I'll just go ahead and start from the end. Sounds good to me. And then once these are pointy again, that'll be it for hair. And I will be free. I'm sure it'll find some way to come back and haunt me. Hair always does. It always laughs at me when I said, hey, I'm gonna be free from hair. Hair is gonna be done. It always laughs, and I know it's just secretly plotting against me. But I think for now, at least, hair will be done. And I will allow myself to believe. And this, it doesn't actually take that long, but it is a little tedious. It's for the best. I do not want this many little rounded points. No. All of the points here must be sharp enough to cut me. I will accept nothing less. I will accept absolutely nothing less. Okay, looks like we're through the first pigtail. Let's see, how much time do I have? I still got a bit of time here. So yeah, I think I'll be able to start the face. I'm very excited. Maybe I can start smoothing out the eyes a little bit. Then my stream title will make a little bit more sense for the people that like to come back and VOD watch. I'm wondering why am I calling it staring at you when you're working on the hair? And, you know, it's a good question. I don't always know why I name things the way I name things, but at least if I work in the eyes by the end, it'll make more sense. It'll be great. All right. Perfectionism at work. But it's okay. It's the hair. It's right up next to the face, so I want to make sure it looks really good. Hello there, Protox. Welcome back. I'm just adding little pointy spots to the stroke I just made because I did not like how round things were. So I'm making them less round, more pointy. Gotta get all of these corners sharp enough to cut me with. Very important. Very, very important. Alright. Always takes a little while, but I always consider the result worth. So I just like to take a little bit of time to make things nice and sharp. And then I can start a face. I am always very excited to start the face. It's gonna be great. And I'll probably do the faces like I've done the other two Phase Saga girls that I've already done. So I'll keep the eyelashes black and then put some amount of color around them to separate them from the shadows. That is the current plan. Hard to thinking about it because, I don't know, going around and making my corners a little sharper here doesn't exactly take much brain power. And my mind just starts wandering, and right now it's going to what I'm gonna be doing next. Alright, on the last pigtail. And then it's eye time. I'm so excited. I'll still leave her body in pieces because, you know, she doesn't need a torso right now. It's fine. I'm working on the head, not the torso, so she could just be a floating head for now. That's all she needs in this moment. A head. And all will be well. Okay. So there we go. That is hair complete. And I think it's looking pretty good. So, let's go draw some eyes before I have to head off for today. I've been looking forward to it. And, you know, as usual, like the first thing I do when I start the eyes is turn off the hair that I just worked hard on. Yes I do. Let me go grab it. Give me just a moment. I really need to put this in a pin post on Twitter. I just haven't gotten around to it. Along with, you know, general hashtags and whatnot. Okay, so here it is, right there. And you can post any fan art here. I do check it periodically. I may not do it the same day you post it. I don't check it every day, but I do check it, and you can always tell me on stream if I miss your post. I will go take a look. Alright. For now. Eyes time. I like the general shape I got going here, so I'm just gonna smooth it out. Alright. Well, regardless, I am just, happy you want to go and draw me. Feels good. And regardless of how good you think it is, I'd still love to see it. There we go, nice and straight. Exactly the way I want it to be. So eyes are one of those places where I don't mess around at all. I get things, I try to get things very, very smooth, as close to perfect as I can. Definitely can't mess around with anime eyes. Alright. I think that's looking pretty good. Unfortunately, I kind of already got things sitting on her face correctly. I've been checking it every day. I've been working on it. So I think I can trust everything I drew. And I think that's fine because I think the corner... Okay, no. A little bit of it is... More of it is showing than I thought. So I'll be turning the hair on and off. I do want to make sure that I'm putting everything in the right place here. And it's easier to do that with the hair off, but at the same time, I don't want to waste a whole bunch of time smoothing things out that's just going to be covered up by hair. So, yeah, that's why I tend to put the hair in a group, so that's why I can turn it off easily. Alright. Okay, now I'm gonna turn it off again. So that this way, I could make sure that I'm happy with things here. It's just easier to see with nothing covering them. And I'll just turn it back on once I know I'm dealing with areas that are gonna get all covered up again. But I should know at least the gist. I should know at least the gist of what's underneath each little part here. Okay, and that's probably good. And now I can smooth out the areas that are actually all visible. So just taking it very, very carefully. Because well, straight lines are hard. And I want to make sure they're straight, smooth, and looking nice. Perfect. Yeah, I think that looks very pointy. I'm pretty sure that if I poked myself on that, I would draw blood, so that's perfect. Exactly what I'm going for here. Okay. Up here. And a cross. Almost there. So, some of these spots are just, insufficiently pointy, and that's just a travesty. So I must fix it. And then I will go put some fluffy eyelashes on her because I personally enjoy very fluffy eyelashes. I like my eyelashes to be super fluffy. I've kind of toned it down in recent months. Part of me is a little bit sad. But at the same time, it's probably for the best. But anyway, let's go get some little fluffy guys on there. I always like to do them without the hair, because then I know that they're in the right spot, and then I just smooth them out with the hair on. This is just all about getting things where they belong first. This way I know that they're in good spots, and that I can trust what I drew, and I can smooth them out sanely. And I think it's okay to have a little bit of fluffy eyelash here, because she is supposed to be cute. And fluffy eyelashes are cute. Maybe be more accurate to say that they're pretty. But nonetheless, it works for me. Okay, let's do the other eye now. And everything will just be smoothed out once the hair is back on. And I'm doing this all on a different layer because I'm scared and I don't trust myself. I do not always get the eyelashes correct the first time through. So it's nice to be able to go and correct things easily without having to worry about destroying the lovely little eyes that I just drew. Okay, and that should be good. And now I can get everything nice and smooth. And then after that, I can merge it all down and all will be well. And I might add some tiny little guys here and there, because I can. The eternal joy of being the artist, just being able to do things because you can. It's wonderful. I've always said, you know, this is my universe, so I get to do whatever I want with it. Mm-hmm. Don't even need a reason. I can just do it. It always feels good. Yes, I suppose he does say some similar things. There we go. And now go grab the ones on this side. I might add another little eyelash here, just because the other one I drew up top is all covered up by hair. Okay, and there we go. I don't know. Line. And that takes you like 90% of the way there. Yep. Some people can do them in one stroke, I can't. I generally take 2 to get the main shape, and then I generally need to refine it just a little. I'm always very impressed by people that can do it in one stroke. Alright, so before I get the eyes themselves, I'm going to go ahead and get the eye white here. Make sure that's all covering the eye as it should. And that everything is the shape that I want. I will keep it round. This is the one place where curves are allowed, just because I don't think that things look very eye-like with straight lines. I don't think these look very good as octagons, and I don't think this would look very good without its... if it was more angular when this is going to be curved. So, eye white gets to be curved. It gets to be special. Okay. And now we can get the eyes. I'm just going to completely undo... You know what? I'm not going to delete them, but most of it's going to be covered up. Okay. You know what? I'm going to make my life easy. We're going to lower the opacity. I'm going to make a new layer. And I am just going to do it this way. And then I can just delete the other layer once I am satisfied. Because I want them to be round. And right now they are insufficiently round. I like making eyes round. There. Okay, and now I'm going to do the same for the pupils. And I think this is like a good 2/3 of the battle here. So, especially with this style. Okay, no. I'm gonna keep what I did before. I'm gonna make them about the same size. Alright, so far so good. Let's go ahead and get the line around them. Let's see. You know what? I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna select them. Edit. Stroke. Stroke selection. Here we are. Solid line. But this will just put it outside. Okay, should be fine. How about how thick do I want this line to be? Not that thick, so maybe given the size of the canvas, somewhere around 30 pixels should do it. Oh no, 30 is way too big. Let's try that again. If 30 is way too big, I probably actually want it closer to 8. No, not big enough. It's okay, I'll just keep guessing numbers until I'm happy. If 8 is way too small, how about 16? Close, not quite. 12. Yes, there we go. That's what I want. Very straightforward. Okay. Now I can start getting the shadows that I want in there. I am going to leave them off the eyes themselves, though. The eyes receive no shadows. I might change my mind. We'll see how I feel about it. I missed a spot. There we go. Okay. Okay, and now I am going to make the eyelashes hot pink briefly, so that this way I can see where they are. I want to see where they are so that this way I can add a little bit of a white outline around where they're going to be. So they're going to be hot pink for a bit. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Because now I can do a little bit of magic and suddenly make my eyelashes visible again. It'll be fantastic. Okay. And just due to how certain things here has shaken out, I think I will have to put some more black lines on the hair. That's fine. But I'll handle that in a little bit. First, I want to finish up the eyebrows, and then I want to be able to turn the head shadows back on. So that this way I can just paint around the eyelashes while they're hot pink, and I don't have to leave them hot pink until I work on this again. So I would like to get that done before I leave. So let's go ahead and get some eyebrows. I think what I've got is fine. So I'm just going to refine them. What do our eyebrows look like again? I need to remind myself. No, not that one. That is Katya, not Nitya. Here we are. Yeah, I mean, I can make it work, but it's not quite what I'm going for. Oh, and I'm silly. Nitya's pupils are slit. She has slit pupils. Okay, I gotta fix that. Okay, let's get the eyebrows first, since I'm thinking about them. Alright. I totally forgot. Yes. Look, it's true. You never know what something looks like until you go and draw it. It's very easy to forget details. It's fine. Crocodiles are lizard adjacent. I know what you meant. So I want my eyebrows to be shaped like this. Yes, indeed. I do not think I could roll my R's quite like her. Otherwise, I'd try to imitate it. Okay, so there we go. I think that's the shape I want there. Now I just do it the same way on this side. And once again, I will be keeping these black, but they are going to turn hot pink while I figure out the head shadows. It is. It really is. I'm not surprised it's so funny, given what it consists of. I mean, I've heard people describe Dutch, one of its, I guess, one of the origin points of Afrikaans as gargling hay. So, from people that speak it natively. Yes. Dutch is like the only language that I've heard where the people that speak it natively do not speak highly of it. Most people often describe their language as beautiful in some way. I've never heard a Dutch person describe their language as beautiful. I don't think it sounds that bad. But people can be very silly. Alright, let's fix our pupils now. Man, the Dutch got some self-loathing issues going on. I don't know, it seems like a nice place. I guess it does have some problems, but, you know, so does everywhere. At least it's not poutine. And yet here we are, talking about food. Yeah. And I mean, a variance project, the current VTuber group that I'm enjoying a lot right now, Dutch company. So I don't think they're too bad. I've known some very lovely Dutch people. I'm pretty sure that One of my favorite Factorio content creators is Dutch. So, it seems like a nice place. I've never been there, so I guess I wouldn't know. But some of the people that have come out of it have been pretty nice. At least to me. There we go, and it even makes things more angular. How lovely. I think I want it to be a little bit bigger than that, though. And now the angle kind of matters, so I gotta move it right. Michael Hendricks. He's a bit rambly, but he makes some very amusing stuff. And also really likes to talk about math, which I think is fantastic. So, actually, seeing some of the numbers behind the game I think is very interesting. Math is another one of those things that gets a bad rap, but I think it's absolutely wonderful and greatly underappreciated. Absolutely. You still feel a little lopsided. Alright, let's go ahead and I'll plop the head shadows on here. I'm not gonna fully render that today, I don't think. The head shadows, that is. But I kind of want to get it going. Ah, come on. Oil's not that bad. I wouldn't say the oil production chain is any harder than any of the other ones. At least I don't think so. Not personally. You just gotta make the chemical plant zone, you know, as you do. Ah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can see where that would be a little bit harder. Okay, so now I'm gonna very messily paint around the eyelashes here. It is true, chemical plant zone does tend to be a safety hazard. So, trip over it all the time, get stuck on everything. Ever since the disaster from my husband and I's first playthrough of it, we always pick a very specific designated area for it, so that this way we don't trip on things anymore. And we make a point to never walk through it. It's you gotta be careful. It belongs in the corner where you never look at it again. Oh no, the nuclear reactors can go wherever you want them. You can walk over heat pipes, no problem. But you can put those right in the middle of the factory as long as you have room for the wind turbines. It's totally cool. Perfectly safe. That said, they do tend to have to go out on the side just because the sheer number of turbines is always a bit of a thing. Alright, and I think once I kind of messily erase some of the areas around the eyebrows, and I might make the eyebrows green. But we'll see how I feel about it next time. But for now, I'll keep them black. But I think once I messily erase over this, it'll be time for me to head on out. And then next time I work on this one is actually going to be next Sunday. I am taking the first small break from streaming that I've done since I've started streaming. So I won't be streaming Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. So, but I'll come back again on Thursday. So the next time that this one will be streamed will be 1 week from today. It'll be next Sunday. Yeah, it should be a good time. But it's okay. It's only for 3 days. Okay, no, I know right now. I want these green. Okay. And, go ahead. It's gonna be messy. I will fix it all up next time, but I want this there. I don't want to have to be staring at that for a whole week. That sounds awful. And now, let's go ahead and turn all the layers back on. Alright, and there we go. We got finished hair, we got mostly finished eyes. I haven't put a highlight in them yet, I guess. I forgot about it. How could I forget about a highlight? I feel terrible. But, it's fine. We'll get it next time, and I think next time I should have a pretty easy time just finishing off the rest of her face, and we can get into the body. That'll be interesting. Getting into the legs, I think, is going to be a thing, because I still feel like they're a little bit fat, and there's still weird stuff there that I'm probably going to do some experimentation with. We'll see what happens, it's fine. But you know, so far so good. I think her face looks wonderful, and that is always the first step. The face must look good. If you draw the face bad, the entire picture is going to look bad. And that's always unfortunate, but it's how it is. So I'm always very happy when I can see the face coming together. I like her expression. I think it's great. But I will go ahead and stop here for today. So, thank you all for coming, and I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I will see you all... Well, I guess not tomorrow, because tomorrow's Monday. I'll see you all on Thursday. Bye-bye.